Segmentation models. We need to cover off what are segmentation models and what's directed versus undirected, how are they built, and how do we use them as part of our scenario plans. The idea of segmentation is this. If this were the population that we were trying to cater to, there are ways that we need to take a look at this in order to segment it or understand components of that market that are useful for us to address. So if we took a look at this, what are different ways that we could sort this information? Maybe we could identify which are the three-dimensional objects. So we'll separate those three-dimensional ones from the two-dimensional drawings. Or maybe by color. We could separate the greens from the pinks and the yellows. Or maybe even the shapes, squares, circles, triangles. The idea is each of these are valid segmentations of this model in this population. But it's useful for different applications, and it all depends on what business we're in, what segmentation makes the most sense. There are different types of segmentation. There's directed, where we have specific agendas about how we want to take a look at the data, or undirected. Undirected allows us to take a look at a population and try to allow the population to tell us what the important components are. This is useful in areas where one is a market leader. A market leader is going to take a look at the population and determine what it needs in order to be successful. Apple is a great example of an organization that takes a market leadership position. Sort of the opposite is directed. In a directed analysis, what we would do is create some sort of filter that would take a look at the population, and only members that passed our criteria would pass through, and the other ones would fail. So by the time we're done, we end up with a segmentation that looks like this. This is called a directed segmentation because we're directing an analysis of the population to cull out those that we're interested in. The opportunity through a directed segmentation is if you have a specific product, it will identify how many potentials there are for that product in that segment. The disadvantage is if you're using the wrong filter, you might not see market opportunities which are available. A directed segmentation is useful if, again, you have a high capital investment solution like an automobile manufacturing line. You're looking for people around the world that need that type of vehicle. So there are several steps to building your market segmentation, and if you want to go into this, I urge you to read some of the more detailed writings. But the net is we have to take a look at the random selection, try to assign sort of average distance of correlations between targeted segments, and from there you can separate out and see what the correlation is between the target segment and the total population.